this kind of dyslexia, and we are working with him step by step, and we are working with phoneme. So, it's like so TH sound. So this is what we are doing now. So this is the best way. And we have the surface dyslexia, which means that they shouldn't, it looks like that the letters are jumping and dancing in front of him. I know that's very difficult for us who do not suffer from it, understanding, but it literally looks like that the letters are dancing in front of them. So it's very difficult to show, okay, this is a word, here I have a syllable, and so on. So it's very difficult. And normally, how do we deal with this kind of information? We need to use technology. So most students who suffer from dyslexia, they do not write like regular people having notebooks, pens, and pencils. We normally offer them tablets, smartphones, or even computers. So instead of writing, they can use their voice to type. This is the best way that we have to deal with it, because if the person does not have this intelligence, we cannot force them to fit a society role. Oh, you are obligated. No, we are not obligated. We are obligated somehow to learn. So we have to take part in it, but we cannot obligate someone who can't calculate to calculate. We cannot obligate someone who cannot write to write. You know, so this way it's not inclusive education. Inclusive education is when you let the person be the way they are. Dysorthography comes about writing. So normally it's combined with dyslexia, and normally the person cannot write very well. The person does not have the ability to recognize the letters and draw them very well. So as they cannot recognize the sound, how will I write something correctly? You know, and Dyscalculia is the one that I have, and people who suffer from dyscalculia, we are not able to calculate or reasoning, work with percentages, or anything that is connected with logical, mathematical thinking. In my case, I used lots of my linguistic ability in order to deal with it, in order to go through university and school. So instead of calculating, my teachers asked me to figure out the theory. So instead of having calculations, I had texts on my notebooks. Dysorthography, it's when the person does not have the capacity or the ability to recognize letters. So the person, normally when this person is writing, you cannot understand what this person is writing because they are not able to connect the sounds with the symbol of the letter. And here I just want to let you know, because at the times we don't know inclusion, like in terms of classroom, what does it look like? So we have, first of all, in our early history about exclusion. So people who suffered from some kind of disability, they were prohibited to take part into regular classrooms. Then we had the segregation. It was something that we would put all these students in a different classroom because they were different. So people used to put them in a different classroom with different kinds of activities and even different kinds of curriculum. Then we had integration, but integration, it's not inclusion. Normally at the times we have like a regular classroom, and people tended to put all these students with that they somehow are challenged in a corner and leave them there, at times giving a different lesson plan, but just literally put them in the classroom, but not including them. All the three examples that we have on the bottom of the slide, they are not inclusive education. Inclusive education is when you have these different people with this different intelligence in your classroom, and you are doing your best to offer them at least moments or at least at the time, some different lesson plan that they will be able to take part in the learning process as much as the regular colleagues. Some questions that I common receive from other teachers when I talk about it. Do these students learn? They do. Of course, they do. What can I do as a teacher? Always try to think about your students' needs. It's not about the book. It's not about the platform that you are using. Like, it's about how can I help them learning this? They are struggling. So what can I do to help them? So always thinking about it. And at the time, simple activities may work. And will they ever learn English? And then we move to our final slide. Real goals will lead us to real achievements. We have two things in English, fluency and proficiency. Fluency is when you have the ability to speak, even though you commit mistakes. And it has to do with English as a lingua franca. Proficiency has to do with the Common European Framework, has to do about being a B1, B2, C1, C2 speaker. So when we set goals for students with disabilities, we have to set real goals, something that this person will be able to achieve. So fluency is something that we can give them the opportunity to develop their abilities. For example, if they do not remember that in simple present you have to add an S, and then they say she work, for example, that's okay, that's fluency. This person remembered that she, it's the noun for girls, for the females. And then we have work, which is the verb that we use when we have to go to work and do things in a way a little bit connected to money. So this person knows that. So that's fluency. Proficiency is when I'm able to say she works. So think about it. At the times, even though we are working with a proficiency because of the place we are working at, this is the focus they have. Whoa, okay, other students, they can move toward that. But this student with a learning disability, I'll be focused not to correct them every time, because that's okay if he commits simple grammar mistakes, because I'm focused on his fluency. And here, guys, I know that 20 minutes is not enough. And as a teacher, I always get super excited when I have to talk because I'm a very talkative person. And I know that learning disabilities always bring up so many questions and so on. So these are my contacts. You will have here my email, manuela@speakuptutoring.com.br. You can find me on Instagram and also Facebook. So in case you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you very much, Manuela. I know I learned something extra there, quite a lot actually. I've been making some notes, so I'm sure everyone got something, even if it was just a reminder about how we can be more inclusive. So thank you very much. And I know that all of our viewers have enjoyed it as well. We've had really amazing comments, lots of questions that show you're engaged, but also lots of thank yous and that's useful and those kind of comments. So thank you very much for that. If anyone does want to learn more from Manuela, we can share her social medias via our social media as well, so that everyone can find you nice and easily. And we've also had some more questions come through whilst you've been speaking or throughout the whole webinar today. So I thought we can take some of these questions and perhaps, Manuela, you can help answer some of them. At the beginning, we had quite a few questions relating to online learning. I know lots of teachers are online at the moment. Things like how can we do, how can we have individual attention in virtual classes, and how can we motivate students to learn English in online classes? If I was to speak from my experience, I would say that giving students a choice in how they answer questions is a good start. Do they want to write an essay? Do they want to record speaking? And so on. Manuela, do you have any more ideas? You can always chip in if you are still there. I would also suggest keeping students engaged by giving them tasks to do. So if, for instance, you're learning any topic, really, you can say, okay, you have 10 minutes now, go away, read about this in English on the internet and bring me back 5 facts and so on. So they're working more actively, even if they're in a completely different place to you. You can even give them a few web page links or sources where they can find the information that they need. If students don't have the option to be searching on the internet, perhaps not everyone has that option, you can always give them homeworks that will engage them. So spend less time lecturing and more time giving the students tasks to do, and come back and present them to the rest of the class next week or next lesson. We also have some more questions here. We've just answered those two. How do we utilize social media to boost our teaching skills? That's a really, really good question. And it's something that we're trying hard to do here. We also know that we have many other social media accounts that we're connected with, other people trying to do the same thing around the world. So if you Google something like, or even on Instagram or whichever social media you use, English teacher or English teaching help, search for those kind of hashtags or @s or whatever it is. And you can find lots of English teachers who are also just trying to spread good practice at the same time. You can also use social media for different kinds of research if you are careful with it, because we don't want to spread information that might not be necessarily true. But if you have a specific topic you want students to go away and research, you can give them a hashtag to go and research, and they can write a report on what they find there. We've just had some more questions delivered. So how can I incorporate fun with lessons at higher levels? Something I used to do quite often in classes was I would get the more able students in class to become the teacher. Like Manuela was saying, get them to teach you things. Being a teacher or teaching as a skill is one of the highest order skills that any student can do. It's the best way for them to remember what they're teaching and to process it at a much deeper level. So you could get them to teach the rest of the class. You could pair them up with students who need extra support. You know your classes more than we do. But I would say that's a good way. If students are engaged and if they're challenged, they'll find that fun. You can also, by giving them a bit more responsibility, so to ask them to deliver a training session on a certain topic to the rest of the class, that kind of responsibility can also be fun for higher level students. How to pronounce tough words is another question. We've had that a few times today. There's no right answer for this, especially because there are so many different types of pronunciation in English everywhere you go. One thing I've learned since learning a new language is I use Google Translate quite often. So if you put the word in there and then click the little sound button at the bottom, you can hear the word spoken in that language. So that's a really good reference. Or if you also Google, correct pronunciation and then put the word in there, there are lots of free sites that also help you with the same thing. But as I say, how you pronounce some words can be different wherever you are in the world. And kids don't discuss in groups, even talk about things. Moreover, there are different types of students with different behaviors and nature, so how to manage all of them? That is a really valuable question, and I'm sure that's relevant to all of us. The thing with group work is the students need to have really, really clear instructions and a clear goal, and they need to know how long they have to reach that goal. So that's the first way to set up group work. If they're not entirely sure what they're doing, then they will just start talking about what they do at the weekend. But also how to manage all of them, I would say, if you plan your groups carefully with different type of learners in there, give them different roles in the group. One of them might be the one who takes notes. One of them might be the leader. One of them might be the choreographer. Give them different roles and different responsibilities. It will help engage them. It will help play to their strengths. They might even be able to teach other students in their group, how they might manage certain situations. And another thing that really helps in group work is to increase and give them a competitive element. So, set 2 groups against each other. You have 5 minutes to create the best, or you are going to be arguing for and against different opinions, and the rest of the class will take a vote afterwards. So give them this competitive element, and it does motivate students to be a bit more focused in group work. We're nearing the end of the session now. So there's a few administrative things that we need to mention. Firstly, we've had several of you ask where the downloads are. If you have a look on the right-hand side of your screen, you have the question and answers at the top. There we have answered questions, so questions that we've been answering throughout the whole webinar. You can see our answers there. You can also see polls at the top. And here we have a question: would you recommend our training event to a friend? You can answer just yes or no there. We would really love to get your feedback ready for next time. And also we have handouts at the top here. You can see it's in grey. Here under handouts, you can see the teacher training event. That is the slides that we've used today. So download them, read them again, use them again. That's absolutely fine. You can also see a certificate of completion there, both in PDF and in PNG form. So if you want to download both of those, you can download the PDF, print it off, have it as your screensaver if you want. Or if you want to download the PNG, that's more of like a picture file. So that's perfect for posting on social media. If it's your Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever you use social media. If you do post it, don't forget to tag us. We would love to learn more about you, all the different places that you are around the world, and what your thoughts were of our training event today. So you can find all of the handouts that you need there. You will also see popped up on your screen a special offer. This is for all of you who have attended today, and it's a thank you for being with us on our global launch for this very special day, and for taking part in this forum where we are sharing good practice. As I mentioned at the beginning, this is the first one we've held, so it's been great to see hundreds of you have been with us today, and over 1,000 of you registered online. Unfortunately, there wasn't space for everybody, but everybody who did register will receive a recording of the webinar, so you can watch it back, you can share it with your colleagues, share it with your friends. So you'll all get to see it, but you're not all there with us live today, unfortunately. Next time, hopefully we have space for everybody. But the special offer we have here at the bottom, that is if you want to sign up for the teaching resources from the English classroom. So if you sign up today, since it's our launch, everybody who signs up gets the first 3 months to test the lessons for free. So you won't pay anything for the first 3 months. But if you use this subscription discount code for 20% off, it means that the next 6 months after the trial period, you will have 20% off the price, whichever level of subscription you choose. But don't worry, you can upgrade if you want to upgrade to our advanced lessons, or you can cancel at any time. There's no contract involved there, but you do get a 20% off for joining us today as a thank you. Afterwards, after the webinar is over, you will be redirected to our website, the-english-classroom.com. And there you can read all about what our lessons include, the levels, the different subscription types there are. Later today, we will have an Instagram live event explaining exactly what the UN Sustainable Development Goals are and why they're important. And in 3 hours' time, we will also have a live demonstration of how to sign up and how to get going and start teaching with the English classroom. The demo lesson is around 8 to 10 minutes long, and that's exactly how long it takes for you to go from seeing our website for the first time to actually being ready to teach English lessons. So check that out afterwards. And you can also see on the screen here all of our social media. In fact, not all of them. We have more than that. So we have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. They're all linked together. So whichever one you choose, you can find us there. Follow us for more events, for more free trainings, for more connections between teachers and sharing good practice. You can send us messages there, and you can comment on our posts directly. We would love for you all to connect so we can hear what you thought about the webinar today. And I think that's all of the administrative things you need from me. So finally, I'd just like to say thank you for being with us today. We hope that you've all learned something. You will receive a link to this training video as a recording, so you can watch it back. You can also share it with your colleagues or any other teachers that you know, and please do. We want good practice to be shared as much as we can to help all teachers everywhere. Our main goal is to save teachers time, to save teachers money, and the English classroom is made especially for teachers. Thank you for joining us today.